afternoon everyone, and once again welcome back you all to the online classes. And you know that now we are discussing about the air around us. So we all know that air is present everywhere, and to understand that we have demonstrated two activities, right? So one is we have taken an empty bottle and we shown that even though it looks like empty, it has some air in it. So that empty bottle, it is filled with the air. So we have demonstrated that activity so that we have understood that the air is present everywhere. And also we have done the activity to understand the oxygen is present in the air and which supports the combustion. Combustion is the process of burning the fuels. So when we burn something, so we need oxygen. So when there is a presence of oxygen, then only we can carry out the combustion process. So we also understood that by burning the candle, right? So we have discussed about this, and also we have discussed about the percentage composition of all these components. So the air, it is a mixture of several gases, right? And in the yesterday classes we have discussed about this. So air, it is a mixture of several gases, and this air contains the nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapors, as well as the dust and smoke particles. So we also discussed the percentage wise composition of all these gases or the components in the air. So the nitrogen is present around 78% and oxygen is present 21% and carbon dioxide, it is 0.04%, and the other gases such as the water vapors or some other gases, they will be present 0.06%. So this is the percentage composition of all these gases which are present in the air. So air, it is not a single component. Before it was there. Until the 18th century, the people were thought that the air is a single component, but it is not a single component. The air, it is a mixture of several gases. So that we have understood in the yesterday's class. And now we can discuss how does the oxygen is present everywhere. So everywhere means it is present in the atmosphere also, as well as the oxygen or the air which is present in the water as well as in the soil also. And when this oxygen is present in the soil as well as in the water, how it become available to plants and animals which are living in the soil and water. So now we can discuss how does oxygen become available to animals and plants living in water and soil. How does oxygen become available to animals and plants living in water and soil? Okay, so this we are going to discuss now. How does oxygen become available to animals and plants living in water and soil? So first, before understanding this concept, now we can first estimate our previous chapters, we have learned that the animals which are living in the water, they use the oxygen which is dissolved in the water. And also many plants are there in the water. And also some of the insects and some worms, they are living in the soil. So they are uses the oxygen which is present in the soil. Now to understand the presence of oxygen or air in the soil and water, now I will explain some activities. Just you can try it in your home and you can just observe. So one thing, first you just take a cup of water and take a container and just start heating the water. So when you start heating the water, you will observe that the water vapors, yes, the water gets evaporated. Firstly you observe that the water gets evaporated and you see the vapors of the water. And then later when it starts boiling, you just observe the bubbles are forming in the water. So when the bubbles are forming, it is observed that is the air bubbles are coming from the bottom of the water. So when the air bubbles are forming means the water containing the air is the water containing the air, and when it started heating, it comes up. So this indicates the air is present in the water. The bubbles, the formation of the bubbles indicates the presence of oxygen in the water. And the oxygen content is there. The water is having some dissolved oxygen in it, so that the animals which are living, what we can call as the aquatic animals. Aquatic animals. So aquatic animals means what? The animals which are living in water. The animals which are living in water are called aquatic animals. Okay. The animals which are living in the water are called aquatic animals, and to survive in the water they also need the oxygen for breathing. Yes, we are all the living organisms can breathe, and even these aquatic animals can also breathe, and to breathe they use the oxygen which is dissolved in the water. Either whatever the water body, either it is a river, pond, lakes or any other water body, depending oceans and seas. So depending on their size, the different animals are living in different water bodies. So all the animals which are living in the water, they are called as aquatic animals, and to breathe these aquatic animals take the oxygen which is dissolved in the water, right? So that they can breathe in the water. And also we said some organisms they are living in the soil also, such as the earthworms and some insects. So they are living in the soil. So now to demonstrate or to understand the presence of soil in the water, the presence of air in the water, in the soil. So again we can do one activity. air. So air is occupied in these spaces. And when we pour the water on it, this air space will be occupied by the water, and this air will escape by that place, because the water gets occupied the space in between the soil particles. So when the water occupies the space, the air gets started escaping from that place, and that only when it is escaping from these spaces, so it appears like a bubbles. So those bubbles indicates the presence of air in the soil. So that is the reason some organisms such as earthworms and some insects, they are living in the soil. And even you might have see some of the burrows. Yes, burrowers like the rodents. Okay, the mice, rats, snakes. Okay, so they will be make some burrows in the soil. Okay, they dig the ground and they make some burrows to live, and they made in such a way that the air should enter through the hole. So like that they burrows, and they are called as the burrowers. So there, even the animals which are living in those burrows, they also get the air. It means the air is present in that also. So likewise the air is present in all the places. So everywhere the air is present. And so what we can say, the earthworms, usually during the rainy season when it rains heavily, so that time you will find the earthworms on the land surfaces. Usually nowadays we are not finding them outside, but during the rainy season when it rains continuously, so that time we see the earthworms outside. Why? Because during the rainy season what happens? The air gaps between the soil particles, that will be occupied by the water, and there is no air in the soil that time. So if the space of the air, if it is occupied by the water, these organisms which are depending on that air, they are not able to breathe. So to get the air, they will come out. So that during the rainy season, we see these earthworms and many insects outside, because they comes out to breathe. Okay, this is how the oxygen is available for animals and plants living in water and soil. So these are, the water is having some dissolved oxygen in the water, so that it made many of the aquatic animals. So they are depending on that water to breathe. And some other organisms such as earthworms and the rodents and this some of the other animals like insects and all other organisms, so they are depending on the air which is present in the soil. So this is how the oxygen becomes available to plants and animals which are living in water and this soil. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Now we can discuss about the next concept of this topic, that is, how is the oxygen in the atmosphere replaced? Now we can discuss how is the oxygen in the air gets replaced. So, how is the oxygen in the atmosphere replaced? How is the oxygen in the atmosphere get replaced. So see, like the water, this air is also a natural resource, right? So we are not producing or synthesizing the air. It is occurs in the nature. So this air is also a natural resource. And how this will be replaced? So every day we are breathing, and other animals, they are also breathing. So when we are breathing, we inhale the oxygen. We intake the oxygen in the breathing. And even other animals, they also take the oxygen. Then, since even the roots of the plants during the respiration, they also need the oxygen. Then when we are consuming all the oxygen in the environment, and even the aquatic animals, they also take the oxygen which is dissolved in the water, and even some worms and insects, they also get the oxygen from the soil. So likewise, in all this, the animals are taking the oxygen from the water and from the atmosphere and from the soil. Then how it will become, or how it will replace in the atmosphere? So now we can discuss about that. And you all learn that about the photosynthesis process. Yes, you are very well known about this photosynthesis, right? So what is this process? It is the process of synthesizing food in the plants. Process of synthesizing food in the plants. So this process we call as photosynthesis. So we call it as photosynthesis because photo means sunlight, and this photosynthesis process takes place only in the presence of sunlight. So that this we call as photosynthesis because the process of synthesizing the food takes place in the presence of sunlight, right? So this one we know. So the plants are the producers and they are the main sources of food, right? And when these plants are synthesizing the food, in that process they are not only releases the food, or they not only synthesize the food, with that they release the oxygen. So when the plants are synthesizing food, with the food they also release the oxygen, and that oxygen which is released by the plants, that is consumed by us. So we and all other animals, we consume the oxygen which is released during the photosynthesis process. So here, during this, they consume the carbon dioxide and water, and in the presence of sunlight, they synthesize the food that is in the form of carbohydrates, and with that they release some oxygen. So that oxygen is consumed by all the human beings as well as some other animals for their breathing. And at the same time, we exhale the carbon dioxide. Yes, we exhale the carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is used by the plants for the photosynthesis. So here what happened? During the photosynthesis, the plants use carbon dioxide which is released by us and other animals during the respiration. We release the carbon dioxide and other animals, they also release the carbon dioxide, and that carbon oxygen. Yes, during the photosynthesis. So this carbon dioxide which is released during the respiration of the animals and the human beings. So there when we are exhaling, so that time we release the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and that is used by the plants in the process of photosynthesis. And by using this oxygen and water, so some minerals will be present dissolved in the water, and by using this in the presence of sunlight, that will be trapped by the chlorophyll pigment, which is the green pigment present in the leaves, and then they prepare the carbohydrate, that what we call as the food, and with that they release the oxygen, and this oxygen is intaken or inhaled by all the animals and the human beings. So likewise, the replacement of the oxygen takes place in the atmosphere, right? So the plants will release the oxygen and we intake that, and we releases the carbon dioxide and plants take that. And even before I said, the plants also get some oxygen for the respiration, because when the respiration takes place, when the plant synthesizes the food, meanwhile at the same time they also need the food, so that we call as the respiration process, the breakdown of food in the body. So for the respiration they also need the oxygen, but they release the oxygen more than that of what they consume. That is the reason what we say the plants releases the oxygen. They consume some amount of oxygen during the respiration, but that consumption of oxygen, the amount of oxygen they consume, it is less than that of their release. So more oxygen they release into the atmosphere. That is the reason what we say the plants releases the oxygen. So likewise, the oxygen gets replaced in the atmosphere. So now, after discussing all this, do the oxygen is used only for the air? The air is used only for the breathing purpose. So there are many other uses are there of this air. Now we can discuss what are the uses of the air. So air is useful in many processes. So now we can discuss few of uses. Few uses of the air. Uses of air. So the first most thing, that is the oxygen. Oxygen, it is used for breathing. Yes, we breathe in the presence of oxygen, and also this oxygen supports burning. Supports burning means it is helpful in the process of combustion. If we burn something, either any fuel, either the petrol, diesel, wood or any other fuel, so it needs the oxygen. So only in the presence of oxygen the burning or the combustion process takes place, because oxygen supports burning, and this is useful to breathe also. Yes, we are all inhaling the oxygen. We are all breathing by using the oxygen. So when we inhale the air, the major component will be oxygen. So this is the use of oxygen. And the carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide used by the plants in the photosynthesis process. during the photosynthesis and they prepare the food. And also this carbon dioxide is used as the fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher. Yes, this carbon dioxide we use as the fire extinguisher. So here this oxygen supports burning, but carbon dioxide it prevent or it cut off the contact of oxygen with the fire, so that when it cut off the supply of oxygen, then it extinguish the fire. So that the carbon dioxide is used as the fire extinguisher as well as in the photosynthesis, right? And the nitrogen it is used in some of the packings, means when we pack some of the materials like the chips or any things like fried one. So in that packing the nitrogen gas is filled, because when we fill the nitrogen it prevents the some of the things will be gone the rancid. So it prevents the rancidity. Okay, so it prevents that, so that we pass the nitrogen gas in the packets. And likewise even the air is used in the windmills. So to the windmills, by the windmills we produce the electricity. Yes, the ground mills, windmills and all, where we produce the electricity. So there we use the air. And also for the parajumping, these are the sports, parajumping and the aeroplanes and some the parachutes and the gliders and sail sashes and also birds, bats and insects to fly. Birds, bats and insects to fly. So for all these the air is useful, and also the air is helpful in the dispersal of the pollen grains, dispersal of pollens. Yes, the pollens will be there in the flower, so they are very light in weight and they can be dispersed the pollen, so that the pollen may enter into the another stigma of another flower, and so there the zygote formation takes place and the seeds form and the new plants will grow from the seed. So likewise this air, this is helpful in the dispersal of pollens. So likewise in many other ways the air it is useful. Okay, so these are some of the useful uses of the air, and even though if you know any other uses you can add to this list and you can make your own list. Okay, only few I have explained here. So this is about the air. So air is present everywhere, and even though the air is present everywhere, we cannot able to see it or touch it, but only we can feel it, and we can see through the air because it is transparent. And we done many experiments to understand the air is present everywhere, and we also learned about how the air become available to plants and animals which are living in water and soil, and also we have learned the replacement of the air in the atmosphere, the oxygen, and also we have learned the uses of the air. So with this I will conclude my today's class. If you have any doubts regarding this, you can contact me and clarify your doubts. Thank you. Have a nice day.